President Trump returned Friday from his historic trip to meet with President Xi Jinping in China, and he says the trip was a success for America, as we know, because China is now going to buy a bunch of soybeans as well as other agricultural products from our farmers.
We had a great stay. It was an amazing period of time. President Xi's an incredible guy. Got along, made a lot of great trade deals, including over 200 planes for Boeing with a promise of 750 planes, which will be by far the largest order ever if they do a good job.
But as the days pass since Trump's return, reports claim that there's some fallout from this summit. One saying that President Xi Jinping sent a secret message to Trump when telling the U.S. to avoid the Thucydides trap. It's some Greek thing, I don't know, referring to a concept used in international relations to describe the danger that occurs when a rising power, presumably China, threatens to displace an existing power, presumably America. Now, in this case, with our stance on Taiwan, and President Xi warned that the U.S. and China could enter some extremely dangerous place if Trump tries to block China's control of Taiwan, for which our stance has not changed even after this meeting. But one major person telling the point of how the summit really went, body language. Experts say that their body language on this trip spoke louder than words. So, body language expert Scott Rouse. All right, Scott, what did you see that we didn't?
Well, since there's not a lot of body language on here, that's the story. Because a lot of times when you see a lot going on, they're showing you the emotion and quite often they don't want you to see. And in this situation, they know this is a global situation. Everybody's going to be watching it. You're going to be watching it. I'm going to be watching it. We're going to be making decisions about what we're seeing. So even though it's a little bit of body language we see, it says a whole lot because of the way they're controlling their body language.
So the other thing, too, is like if you ever shaken hands with President Trump, he's one of those guys, grabs you, pulls you in tight, takes the upper hand. I noticed this handshake seemed extremely cordial.
Yeah, it really was. And the thing is, though, you always hear, oh, you get the upper hand in the deal, the upper hand in the handshake. President Trump comes in with his hand, with the bottom of his hand facing upward with the palm of his hand. He gives Xi the upper hand in the handshake. So that was, I thought, interesting. It shows a little bit of respect from President Trump to President Xi. There's a lot of that going on here. It's very subtle, but it's there. There's tons of those things in there. And you'll see when he pulls on his hand, which he usually, a lot of times he'll shake somebody's hand, sort of pull him towards him. It wasn't as hardcore a pull, but Xi just kind of sticks his hand out even further to ease up that tension between the two.
Some people making this big deal about some kabuki theater of him like touching his ear as he got out of the limo. What was this?
And those are little things we do when we try to get rid of that built-up stress and tension. That's called an adapter. And when you do that, sometimes you'll rub your hand or you'll pat your leg or you'll make a face or stretch your shoulders or something like that. But that doesn't mean anything whatsoever. There's no secret message there. There's no, dominance play there or anything. If you notice when he touches the car, it's the same kind of thing. You try to ground yourself. You try to adapt to the situation by getting rid of that built-up stress and tension.
So in your professional opinion, you do this obviously professionally, body language expert, would you conclude that most of the people who are analyzing this on other networks are completely full of it?
I'd say you nailed it. Because a lot of it is you can say anything about body language, it's a pseudoscience. There's so much science behind it, and when you look at what's actually going on, you look at it for real in the context of what's going on, which is what you're supposed to do. Look at what's happening with the behavior in the context of the environment they're in. There's not a whole lot going on there. They're controlling all of that.
Yeah,
and they know what they're doing, but there's no secrets, nothing like that going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. Maybe. And just maybe, what you see is what you get. I don't know. But
yep.
I dropped out of college, so I have no doctorate in anything. But Scott, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right.
He loves the Constitution. He fights for what's right. He hates the bad guys. He's a freedom warrior. He's your freedom warrior. Watch Carl Higbie every weekday on Newsmax.